past. So this is called the challenge of inequality. The challenge of inequality, and this is apparently yeah, I don't know. I think this isn't a pro-capitalism take on leftism where they think like we all want equality of outcome or something like that. That's just my guess. That's just my guess. So this is probably trash if Shady Shroomy sent it to me. I can't imagine Shroomy sent me something that was just like mild trash. So let's see. If this happens to be a good video, I'd be pleasantly surprised, but I don't think it's going to be. So, The Challenge of Inequality by Policy Ed, who has a check mark, but only 35,000 subscribers. Interesting. Okay. How do people find this stuff? I don't know. Looks like they have a budget. Russ Roberts. Okay, so I'm going to look up Russ Roberts. Host of Econ Talk does not inspire confidence, neither does his visage. Research fellow, Hoover Institution, Stanford University. Okay. Russ Roberts. All right, so let's read about Russ Roberts real quick to see what we're getting into, okay? He has a bachelor's from North Carolina, PhD from Chicago. He's an economist, a research fellow at Stanford, president of designate of Shalem College, which is, I guess, a thing, in Jerusalem, Israel. Okay. He is known for communicating economic ideas in understandable terms, and the host of Econ Talk. He categorizes himself as a proponent of classical economic liberalism. I believe in limited government and combined with personal responsibility. So I'm something of a libertarian, but that term comes with some baggage and some confusion. Okay, I think I see where the problem may lie. All right, so this is, he's going to focus on inequality. I'm something of a libertarian, you could say. True. Okay, all right, let's this is not going to be good, is it?
Many people have come to believe that only the richest Americans have prospered over the last 40 years.
Oh, boy.
In the first 4 episodes of this series, I've tried to show that the truth is more complicated.
Okay, sure.
That there's a lot of evidence that people in the middle and at the bottom have prospered along with the rich. And the rich aren't a fixed group of people. Over time, people move up and down. But the gap between the top and the bottom is bigger today than it once was, because even if most Americans are getting ahead, some get ahead faster than others, and that increases inequality even if prosperity is increasing for most Americans.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, this is a situation where you don't look at like how much a dollar is worth. Like relative to the time that we live in. Like if you go with the 1950s and you look at the minimum wage and you extrapolate that out to the $7.50, $7.25 federal minimum wage here, right? We're not making fucking anything compared to those people based on cost of living. If prices go up and wages don't follow, people fail. How does one prosper at the bottom? Oh, because you have a refrigerator, you see? You have a video game console. Here's the thing. Can we talk about this for a second? We don't talk about this very often. Video game consoles and Netflix subscriptions and your phone or whatever. I'm going to blow your mind right now. These aren't luxuries. What did he just say? What did he just say? I would argue that these things are a necessity. Now, not in the same way that food and shelter and stuff is, but I will elaborate after I almost sneeze. Hold on. I'm going to sneeze. That's okay. Sneezed. Hold on, I got another one. Okay, we're good there. Here we go. Here's the explanation, okay? Mental health is important. Mental health is arguably the most important aspect of your life. Okay? Thrace. Mental health is something you need to curate. One of the major reasons that people die young, that people have health problems, that people have mental health problems, which is not separate from physical, because your brain, by the way, physically exists, and the chemicals within it are physical, real things. You reduce stress by having these things. When you are poor, you typically, and I have been poor in my life, abjectly so, for quite a while. I used to work at McDonald's. I ran, even running the store to some extent. I wasn't the number one manager, but I wasn't the store manager, but I was in the you are running the restaurant group. I also worked at some different restaurants and stuff like that. But I've been abjectly poor, 40 plus hours a week, making $600 to $700 a month. You know what I mean? What can I spend time on for my mental health? What am I going to spend time on? Now, I used to believe that these were luxuries, right? Because the way that we categorize luxury is something you don't need for survival, usually. I would argue, not every PlayStation that anyone has. I would argue that if you're only, if some of the affordable and sole options, especially in lockdown like this during a pandemic, if some of the only escape from the daily stresses of your life come in the form of electronic stimulus in that way, or entertainment or whatever, these things are essential. Rome understood this. I don't know why America doesn't. Entertainment and de-stress and understanding, being able to communicate with people over long distances. You need one of these to fucking talk to anybody nowadays. Just because you can watch videos on this, like what? Being able to educate yourself in an affordable way by watching videos of people because you can't afford school or something like that, and helping to do that, learning a fucking recipe and being able to cook it at home. Like, these things are essential to a well-balanced and healthy mental life, right? You need to be able to de-stress. You need to be able to have leisure time. You need this. And especially if you live alone, you need it even more. You need some sort of access to information from other people. We're social creatures. We are not meant to be isolated. We are not meant to be, sitting in a room and working all day and then coming home and sleeping and waking up and doing it again. We're not meant to do that. We are literally evolved to not like that. These are essential to our well-being. Being poor doesn't mean that you don't get to also enjoy stuff. That's the pitch, and I'm correct. Internet access as an unalienable right. It's getting really close to that, yes. You can communicate, play games, learn lots of shit if we implement this, in addition to lowering your workload. 100%. 100%. If you don't take into account mental health when you consider survival and needs, you're not thinking thoroughly. Singing Reaper, my only escape for years was my laptop, and every time it broke and needed repairs or some sort of the worst mental health periods of my life. Exactly. Even now, as I have an old tablet after mine finally hit the dust, it's not the same, and has probably impacted my coping ability these few weeks. Of course. Absolutely. Yeah. And because it's affordable, you can spend $60 on one video game and play it for years. And that's just like, what if we let the poorest have refrigerators and bathrooms? That Fox News, 99% of poor people have refrigerators. What the fuck? Not 100%? We need 100% of people to have refrigerators. That's how we store food. Like, look. Yeah. It's totally going to use this video if okay. Yeah, go for it. I can't convince Medicaid that a computer and equipment allowing me to use it is a necessity. If they don't think using a computer is a necessity in 2021, not only for mental health purposes, which of course, again, are objectively physical health problems, but also to get off of Medicaid eventually, that would help, right? Because Medicaid kind of wants to disincentivize you from using it, which is stupid. But I mean, just to be able to use something like that, to be connected to other people, is incredibly important. Anyway, we're going to continue this. You were going to continue this. I paid $0 for Doom WADs, and I played that game probably more than any other except maybe Skyrim. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So it just depends. There's lots of free stuff too. There you go.
Is growing inequality something we should worry about? Some inequality comes from the fact that distance and borders matter less than they once did. The best athletes and entertainers make a lot more money today than they did in the past because a star today can entertain many more people than before, reaching fans in China and around the world.
What's that mean?
In ways that weren't possible before.
Okay.
It's easier today for talented inventors and innovators to improve the lives of more people and profit along the way. They can sell their products and services to billions of people instead of the millions they could reach in the past.
Oh, okay. This isn't explaining inequality whatsoever. You're only talking about very, very rich people. I don't understand. Your example of equality is NBA athletes and Airbnb app inventor guy? Like what? I don't and again, only in raw dollars, not really in like adjusted wage. Okay. All right.
If that's capitalism run amok, give me more of it.
Of course you want more of it.
But some inequality comes from crony capitalism. The rich using the power of government to make themselves richer.
That literally is the president you probably voted for.
That's just wrong. We should stop subsidizing the ability of Wall Street to invest recklessly because they can expect bailouts if they make bad bets.
Okay, but they needed to bail out part of Wall Street because it was so heavily tied to people's fucking homes. That's the reason they got that bailout. Also capitalists in general, but like this is stop subsidizing the fucking agriculture. Oh, if you hold on, he's about to.
We should stop subsidizing big agriculture.
No, literally don't do that. Literally do not do that. If you want to keep your head, I mean literally keep your head attached to your body. If you are a politician, this is not a threat. This is just a truth. If people can't afford bread, you're gonna be fucking got. That's just how it goes. You cannot inflict hunger on millions of people by refusing to subsidize agriculture. What are you talking about, dude? What? Do you know why they subsidize farmers and shit like that? They subsidize farmers to keep the consumer price down. They literally, the federal government gives big agriculture. The federal government gives subsidies to agricultural companies and independent farmers to produce food, so that they're doubly compensated by the federal government, so that when they sell it to market, that profit margin is already compensated for, and you don't have to jack prices up to poor people. A can of corn would go from like 50 cents to like $3.50 overnight. You literally can't do this. If you don't subsidize agriculture, especially the corn, and this is not because of my brand, this is literally because of the things that corn's in, you would collapse the entire country. Any country, pick one. Yep, collapsed. You have to subsidize this. Always. Like, holy shit. The only way to mitigate this is if you manage somehow to get every single American family to grow their own food, like subsistence-wise. And it's impossible. It's impossible. You can't do that.
We should stop protecting healthcare providers from competition.
Yeah, the problem with big healthcare is that they don't is that it's not capitalist enough. It's not profit driven enough. Jesus Christ.
That would lower prices and profits.
It wouldn't lower
We should
prices.
relax zoning and other restrictions that benefit property owners.
Okay, part of the reason for zoning, zoning's really complicated because it goes both ways.
Zoning is to allow local and national authorities to regulate and control land and property markets to ensure complementary uses. Zoning can also provide the opportunity to stimulate or slow down development in specific areas.
I didn't do this on purpose. So that's part of what zoning does. That wasn't Siri. That was Google Assistant. zoning is also used in a lot of unethical ways. Obviously, I mean, it just depends on what's going on. You can. Part of the reason you zone though is to keep like this might be the factory center of the city or something, and in keeping it out of the residential area. There's different reasons to zone. You don't need to necessarily relax zoning. This is a good thing, especially from a sort of a pollution standpoint as well. There's lots of reasons to do something like this. Some zoning is obviously racist and is bad, so it just needs to be overhauled. You don't need to relax zoning is not the way I would describe this. Reform zoning is definitely the way to do that. You need some zoning, right? Because you need like, okay, you can dump chemicals here area, or you can have a nuclear power plant here. You can't put it in the middle of a neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get government out of the business of making rich people richer and preserve the opportunity for people to get rich by making their customers happy. Focusing on inequality as something inherently bad can blind us to the problems of poverty. Inequality and poverty aren't the same thing. Even if some people are
Wait, who says inequality and poverty are the same thing?
getting ahead faster than others, I'm much more concerned about those at the bottom who are left behind.
Are you though? Are you? Because you're literally telling people to increase the food prices for these individuals. You want them to not have access to health care. What? What? What?
Let's get real.
That's a beard? Pandemic beard. Is that a beard? What? Okay.
Both the left and the right look at the poor in ways that aren't helpful. Too many in the right look at the poor and wonder, why can't they rise in an economy that seems full of opportunity, at least when there isn't a pandemic? But too many on the right struggle to imagine what it's like to grow up poor, where some must overcome racism or other challenges.
Holy shit, he just said a good thing. Here comes the but.
Too many forget that the poor are usually poorly educated. They bring too few skills to the workplace.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the deficiencies of the poor. They're poorly educated and don't have good skills. Oh, there you go. There was when the other shoe dropped. Wow.
They lack the connections others have to help them get ahead. Too many
so privileges
on the right are blind to the barriers facing the poor. Too many on the left make the opposite mistake.
What's the opposite
They
mistake?
see no hope for the least skilled among us to join the modern economy.
What?
Even in the best of economic times, they see no scope for personal responsibility or drive or grit.
What? Or grit? Yeah, So I went to my accounting class to learn about how to succeed in capitalism, and Teach taught me Chapter 1, grit. Just have some grit, chat. Yeah, it's the old grit. That's how we get things done around here. Yep, 80 grit, please, paper. Yeah, that's how things work. I hate to break it to you, you just need a little more grit, frankly. So he doesn't know what the left thinks, obviously, unless he's like talking about liberals or something. I don't know. I don't even think this is really accurate of liberals. So, no personal. This is like what they do with black people too, where the soft bigotry of low expectations, where we go like, "Hey, that's systemic racism," and they go, "What? You don't think a black person can succeed?" We're like, "What? No? Can you just stop preventing that, or at least attempting to prevent that with that racism right there?" And they're like, "No, give some grit." Like what? Like what the fuck? The left, on the other hand, the idea here is that socioeconomic issues are things. A lot of homeless people have mental health issues that haven't been addressed because of our shitty pay-gated healthcare system. There you go. A lot of homeless people also have been into the military-industrial complex and gotten chewed out and chewed up and spit out on the other side, which usually contributes to those things. A lot of homeless people have just been fucking unlucky. It happens. Some homeless people have addiction issues, which, again, is a healthcare problem. You can fix a lot of this with healthcare. A lot of homeless people just didn't have that sort of, the lattice of familial wealth that maybe some people have access to, or the connections or whatever. There's lots of reasons for homelessness, and none of them are shameful. No one really usually opts into that kind of lifestyle. Some people do, but not most people. And so if you don't opt into it, what's the idea here? Why not just give people a place to have shelter? Why not give people some food and some water and electricity and heat and a shower and internet access and a cheap phone and a place to go get health care, whether it's mental or physical, which is the same thing. Why not allow them? Another great example of reason people are homeless is because they didn't have any upward opportunities. Because again, if you don't have familial wealth, I can't bootstrap my parents into being wealthy by being born, right? If I'm born into a poor family, my bootstraps are meaningless, right? So I have to, it's like sins of the father sort of thing. So because they're poor, I have to also be poor. Why can't I just go get an education for free to better myself? It's not like they're just going to give me a job because I went to college. I have to excel at college, right? To get the upscale job. So why not allow for that? It really doesn't make any sense. These people are fucking dog shit at capitalism, bro. They're really bad at capitalism. Why? You need to invest in the labor class if you want capitalism to do anything for you. Like just simply bootstraps the capitalism. You should have thought about that before you decided to be born not rich. True.
They assume the least skilled and the poorly educated can only survive on a government handout of some kind.
No. What, can only survive? No. It's not about only surviving. This is not the idea here. The idea here is that these people have situations that are untenable for a reasonable existence in the way that we have set standards for. If someone has substandard living conditions, it behooves us in a society that claims to be the greatest country on the planet to just disallow that unless you opt into it. Literally just don't let people be homeless unless they want to. If you want to go be homeless, I want you to be one, right? I want you to go live off the grid, and I want you, some people choose, there's streamers on this platform that are literally homeless and choose to be so. There was one streamer recently that I watched a little bit, and she lives in her van. She doesn't have a home. She lives around in her van and streams wherever she can get Wi-Fi. It's fascinating. I think that's interesting. You can go do that. That's fine. There's some I don't want a situation where if, say, her van got broken into, like the windows broke, she got into a car accident or something. I want her to be able to go get temporary housing if she needs it for however long she needs it. Stream from there. I don't care. I have no problem with that. Like, why though? Why though? Especially in the wintertime, obviously. But like, who's going to choose that life? Most people are not going to choose that life. Most people want to live usually in a space, probably near family or friends if they can, or to pursue some sort of interesting vocation, or to pursue education, whatever it is. That's fucking freedom, bro. That's fucking freedom. Let's have that fucking system, dude. Let's see how it goes.
They see the barriers facing the poor as insurmountable, both left and right.
No, I don't see a barrier. There's plenty of poor people that excel in this country. There's also plenty of people who don't. Like, that's the point, right? More poor people don't excel, but they're always like, well, look at this guy. He went to the fucking NBA. It's like, okay, like, what? So you have to be able to shoot mad threes if you want to be successful. You have to be able to run a 40 yard dash in 4.3 seconds or you're dog shit. All right. Okay, you got to be able to throw a ball real far. Dan the Mango, you've been gifted to sub by Logan Rectum. Thanks so much, Logan. Appreciate that. It's kind of a lottery, yeah. It's kind of a lottery, absolutely. Some people it's not a lottery, but other people it definitely is. I mean, your existence is literally a lottery, but yeah.
Right, ignore the policies that make it hard for the poorest among us to prosper. Change those policies, and the poor have a better chance to thrive in the modern economy.
What's a bad policy that you think affects the poor in a bad way? Good call, baby. You on a 4-4? Damn, you're fast as fuck, dude. 2 rockets, thanks to the Prime, my guy. Appreciate it. I don't know if you're a guy.
worry less about inequality and work instead to improve the schools that poor children have to
Thanks,
attend
Logan.
in their
Appreciate
neighborhood.
that.
We should get rid of licensing that makes it hard for poor people to get a job.
We should get rid of licensing? We should get rid of licensing. You just want any motherfucker riding around in a fucking forklift. Just get rid of licensing. Simply get rid of licensing. What a dumbass. This guy's fucking stupid. Holy shit. Oh my god. Play football in the Marine Corps? Oh, hell yeah, man. Are you still a 4-4 or were you a 4-4? Are you a 4-4 today? Because that's fast, dude.
Or learn a skill. In the 1950s, about 5% of jobs required a license. That's up to roughly 30% today.
Could it be, and hear me out, could it be that between the 1950s and today, we have more specialized needs? No? You don't think between 1950 and today we've gotten a little bit more gotten a little more specialized? Damn, bro. I think my fastest 40 time ever was like a 5.2, dude. I'm not fast.
That's cronyism masquerading as consumer protection.
Although I never really practiced the 40. I played basketball a lot in high school, though. I was probably faster than that if I would have practiced, but nah.
We should change zoning laws and land use regulation that make housing artificially expensive. Those regulations push the poor out of cities where there's opportunity.
You can't live in the city. Oh, they're pushed out because it's profit motive. What? They're not just gonna what?
And the minimum wage makes the least skilled among us artificially more expensive to employers, encouraging automation or the substitution of higher skilled workers.
What the fuck? You just said they don't have skills, bro. You just said the reason people are poor is because they have no skills. He said out loud, poor people don't have marketable skills. Which I disagree with, obviously. But in his brain, he goes, poor people don't have marketable skills. Therefore, to help poor people, we need to eliminate the minimum wage. What? What?
Yes, some recent studies find that minimum wages don't reduce jobs for the least skilled, but
Logan Rectum, thanks for the 300 B's, dude.
other studies disagree. Either way, wouldn't it be better to give poor children a better education? That would lead to higher wages and make the minimum wage irrelevant.
No, it wouldn't make the minimum wage irrelevant, but you'd have to fund the schools to get a better education. You can't not fund the schools, guy. Where does he think, as an educator, where does he think that the education part comes from? You have to pay people to do these things. This doesn't make any sense. Simply give them a better education. Fund it then, dude. What? People need to survive. Fund it. Oh my god, dude. Yes, data contradicts my point, but still, it's my point, and I think it's a good one. True.
Human beings need food and shelter and clothing.
Is that all they need, chat? Is that all they need? Food, shelter, clothing, and healthcare, and education, and safety, and internet access, mental health care.
But we all need more than material well-being.
Wow, no way.
All of us crave dignity, agency, and all the things that make life meaningful.
Sure. Stripping people of their minimum wage and health care and education certainly doesn't serve these purposes. And wouldn't you know it, it doesn't serve these purposes either. These people are like jobs equal dignity. Money equals agency. And wealth equals meaning. No. Dignity exists in our viewpoint by just existing. You get dignity if you exist and you're a decent person. That's all you need to do. How do you feel about jobs, Jake? Jake, how do you feel about jobs? Jobs are things that you should be able to opt into, not things that should be tied to your survival. That's what I think about jobs.
Beyond material success. Both in the left and the right need to remember that human flourishing...
And most people would opt into jobs, you know what I mean? Most people would opt into jobs. Because most people probably don't want to live... Here's my system, right? This is we still have to operate with some capitalism, but this is the sort of the next step that America should be at, okay? Job, something you opt into to get more money, right? More money. We have UBI, so you have a certain amount of money. You also have public housing that is you can get if you need it. And if you want something better than what is likely, a small living space with basic amenities, if you want a bigger place, a place that to call your own, where it has like a yard and a little fenced-in area for your dog and shit, or for your kids, or whatever you got going on, obviously you're going to want to work to improve that situation, which incentivizes work, but it doesn't make it a crutch, because you don't want people who base their entire decision-making on surviving. And once you disconnect, this is the best part, once you disconnect jobs with survival, the quality of those jobs increases, because they need to retain employees, because it's expensive to not have employees long term. You can't have a bunch of turnover in that scenario. So you need to treat your workers better, which makes ethical work go up, which makes happiness go up, which, guess what, makes productivity go up. Guess what? Everybody fucking wins. Everybody fucking wins. How much do you want to work? Well, we have this job for 40 hours. Well, I only want to work 20. Is it possible to do that? Yes or no? Right? Work with somebody. These are going to make them all better. And then when you introduce democracy to the workplace, when you introduce the fact that you have health care, so you have healthier workers that also have a say in how the workplace goes. You had mental health care. They also are able to deal with the stresses of jobs, which means that any other stressful jobs, say, I don't know, working at a fucking restaurant's pretty stressful. If they have access to mental health, they're able to do that. If you have paid leave, if you have paternal and maternal care, that's fantastic as well. If you can have education, so these people don't have to work in a restaurant forever, maybe they can learn to run a restaurant. Maybe they can learn to do other hospitality things. Maybe they can learn to code like you really want them to do. They could learn totally other things. The vocations just increase. Everything that you do, if you just disconnect jobs from survival, everything else falls into place. It's nuts. That never is going to happen. Now we have too many boomers that work. Is there well, I mean, it's never going to happen. Boomers die. You do realize they're not immortal. Yeah. No problem. Boomers die. You can't disconnect work from living? Yes, you can. Suffering's a part of life. We all have to do something to avoid it. Unless we don't have to. There you go. We just did it. Because guess what? Many people need to work to be happy if they want to. Of course, yeah. If you have a passion or something, I would work. I would work in that situation. I'm sure a lot of people would work in that situation. The pyramid was really bad. We don't have to talk about it again, though. No.
Is about more than money. Let's spend less time and energy on inequality and more on creating opportunities for all Americans to flourish.
There you go. All right, that was really bad. That was really, really bad. If you are a capitalist, you are bad at capitalism. If you believe any of that shit that we just said, you're literally the worst at capitalism. You haven't thought it through. Your brain is small. If you want capitalism to succeed for as long as it's going to succeed, and believe me, it has a fucking shelf life on this motherfucker. If you want capitalism to continue for some reason, you're going to have to understand that you need to disconnect it from survival. You don't need to disconnect it from reality. It's fine. Jobs are things that we need, of course. Jobs are a thing. We need services and everything. And all you got to do is incentivize people to do that, because not everybody wants to just sit around and not do stuff. But some people do, and that's fucking fine. Who cares? Who gives a shit? You're not doing stuff. Okay, cool. Who cares? Why do you care? Don't give a shit. Why do you give a shit what other people like? Like, just, it's freedom, bro. Have the freedom to pursue whatever you want. The fact that you can use joblessness as a threat is unethical and small-brained. Yeah. We should definitely educate people on sex education. Of course, it should be comprehensive sex education with a obvious focus on consent. I don't work now. I want to go to school and get a job. Even if I don't have financial strain, I have a passion and I want to pursue it. Of course, most people are like this. Most people have a passion. Most people want to pursue that education, and the only thing keeping them back is usually monetary things. Secondarily, it becomes health related. If you just take care of healthcare, if you just take care of the pay gate on education, I mean, you're on your way, baby. Anyway, remember how before we had a society everyone was lazy and just sat around all the time? True, definitely a real thing. Traveling and taking pictures is my passion, and God, I wish I could do it more. And of course, and that's valuable to the rest of the world. Traveling and taking pictures is a good thing. We need perspectives and other things. It's a form of art. And if you can be happy doing that, why are we against being happy? I don't know. No, you need to toil and suffer to be viable. Okay, if you think toiling and suffering is a viable option for life, you are either a dumb Catholic, which is fine, or just a dumb non-Catholic, which is fine, but you're stupid. You're stupid and dumb, and you're bad about other people, dude. Like, you just need to think about how other people exist. There's not always a chance at pregnancy. You could fuck your boyfriend right in the butt. You can't get pregnant from that, can you? You could scissor your hot girlfriend. The sex doesn't always have a chance at pregnancy. Blowjobs are sex, not a chance at pregnancy, dude. So only if there's cummies in the V is there a chance at pregnancy. So calm down about all the other bullshit, okay? There's always a chance at pregnancy when you have sex. Sure, sometimes, not always, dude. Fucking, why don't you branch out your sex life a little bit, dude? Quit worrying about what other people are doing. Quit talking about it. Fuck that. Get an abortion if you need one, chat. Fetuses are pointless. They're literally worthless. Fetuses are not things that need to be worried about, okay? Take your sexual health into account. Make sure that you're not, make sure that you're consenting at every point. And just like really get after it. If you want to fuck, I want you to fuck. If you don't want to fuck, that's cool too. Don't fuck. But don't listen to this dumbass where he's like, sex is, it's always could lead to pregnancy. No, it can't. Look, there's no way I can get you pregnant if it's just ear related, okay? Nothing. No way. Get that dumb bullshit out of here. Try not to purport dumb shit anymore. Let's just how about asking questions? Who thinks a blowjob will lead to pregnancy? You said sex always has a chance to lead to pregnancy. That's just obviously not true, bro. So So get that bullshit out of here. Get an abortion whenever. I don't care. I don't care when you get an abortion. I do not care. Get one. Get one if you want one. It's your choice. Fetuses are pointless. Fetuses are literally pointless. And if you're worried about families, if you're worried about families, boy, do I have something to tell you about families. If only you provided health care and unconnected jobs from survival, boy, would you see more families. You really would. Part of the reason people don't have families is because specifically vaginal sex. No, I could finger blast a vagina without having sex, or without impregnating. I'm just tossing that out there. I could also get snip snapped. They could be snip snapped. I mean, just fuck as much as you want, guys. Get abortions when you need them. Anyway, so that's the end of that video. That's the end of that discussion.